Hey guys, welcome to another audio commentary done by Diggity. This is MSL Season 3, a match between Mind and Mania on Python. It's the first set in this matchup, and it looks like Mind is starting in the 9 o'clock position, and Mania is starting at that 12 o'clock position. Kind of fearing doing these matchups, because Terran versus Terran, not that fun to do commentary on, but I do it for the dedicated fans, and I do it because I'm trying to be dedicated here and get you guys full coverage on the MSL and OSL. It was funny, someone commented on Moletrap, one of Moletrap's videos, like, you can tell that Diggity is a Terran fan, because he does all the Terran versus Terran commentaries, and it's not as much the case as that Moletrap refuses to do them because he doesn't want to waste his time on them. I feel like this is kind of a necessity along the side, not to consider myself legitimate, because really I'm not legitimate, but to kind of stay in good form. It's good practice, and also, I don't know, learn more about the game. Actually, if you want to see a very good Terran on Terran matchup, I think the best one that was done recently was actually done locally in North America between Skew and Skew and Yosh, and that was actually a very good Terran on Terran matchup. But you never know. Sometimes the matchups turn out awesome. Sometimes they turn out boring. So might as well do all of them. This matchup could kind of lack. I can't think of a better word than lack. Mind, a very solid Terran player, and I think he has better Terran versus Terran than Mania does. Really, Mind, he's beaten I Love UV on a consistent basis. I think he beat Light. Mania is, I think, a bit better against Zerg players, but what Mania's real strength is if his opponent makes a mistake, he will capitalize on that mistake, and he will come out with a victory because of that mistake. And so definitely doing that against Go Rush, and definitely doing that against July Zerg, and I was very impressed with his kind of dropship control and kind of aggressive dropship pushes. But really, in this matchup, that's going to be very key. This is Python, and on Python, dropships are just so important, just because the positioning of the spawn of the various spawn points. If you guys aren't familiar with the map, there's also a spawn point at the 3 o'clock location, at the 6 o'clock location, and really to kind of cover those, you need dropships, and you need units in those dropships at those neutral locations, and also kind of the positioning of the spawns. You can kind of see around there. There's a lot of opportunity for dropping on the main. There's a lot of room behind kind of the mineral line. And the question is either player going to kind of go on the defense? And I think with Terran versus Terran matchups, you'll see a lot of Terran versus Terran. They'll just skip the engineering bay on a map like Python and just kind of invest more in dropships and kind of Goliath as quickly as possible. Not to say that's the only strategy on this map, but I think it's the most, that's kind of the strongest strategy, is get your dropships up as quickly as possible and then just try to produce more dropships than your opponent and forces in those dropships so you can keep them on the defensive and you can stay on the offensive, and you get expansions and make it so they can't defend theirs. Both players doing kind of a mirror build, except it looks like Mania isn't producing a Marine. Mind's going to have a slight advantage here simply because it looks like he's scouted clockwise, where Mania's scouting clockwise as well, so he's going to come across Mania's base, or I'm sorry, Mind's base, probably when he already has a Marine in his front. But I can't imagine that that's going to have too large an effect, because I just think that Mania is probably just going to do pretty much a mirror build to Mind on this map. It's pretty standard for, especially because neither of these guys is known for being super creative. I don't think I've seen either of these guys proxying. So early expansion going down, another early expansion going down just as that first factory is being produced. That's actually a little unorthodox. Usually you'll see a single siege tank out first, but both players actually going to go for a vulture. Probably because they realize it's a Terran on Terran matchup, that both players are going for that early expand, both being very calculating here. And also, Mind had that scout. Looks like Mania, I think he almost immediately left for that barracks. And again, wow, that just killed that SCV in the nick of time with that Marine and that Vulture. And my guess is that Mania, at this point, in order to get a spot, is going to have to wait until his barracks floats out there. I'm not actually sure where the barracks is in position in relation to the map. Second factory going down for Mind, that's for early, instead of going for machine shop addition. So he's going to produce vultures for a bit of time here, maybe try to do a couple of early supply hits, I'm not sure. And a little bit of vulture action here out in the middle. Let's see who comes out on top here. Wow, decent micro by Mind pulling that initial vulture out, so he's going to lose both. But it looks like, yeah, actually Mind's going to fall back. That was about dead even. Mania coming out with a sliver more health, and now that barracks is floating up, so Mania is going to basically see that that second factory was going down, so he's going to be a little bit behind in production, but a little bit ahead. It looks like in unit production. Managed to take those two vultures down. Actually managed to again kept that vulture, but still a few more hit points in his part. And Mania really actually needs to be a little careful with that barracks out in the open, because that barracks, if it's taken down, he's going to be, I mean, it's really vulnerable right there. Wow, an armory going down. He needs to be extremely careful here, because Goliath's going to be produced in not too long. If he doesn't pull that barracks out now, he could end up losing that barracks and then being way behind and be way behind production because he can't get more factories down in the Terran tech tree. And both players, as you can see, going for, Mind going for a starport. Mania, I take it back. So yeah, their Mania also going for a starport. 4 vultures to 3. Mania rushing up right there. And as I was saying, both players going for the dropships, kind of mirroring their builds, and 4 vultures on 3 again. So wow, Mind might actually be able to push these vultures up and do a little bit of a harass. He did manage to take those vultures up, and those SCVs are going to be extremely vulnerable now, managing to take those couple out. And as you can see, Mind pulling his barracks back. I think he saw that armory and started pulling his back.